The monitor bank flickers at 2 a.m., and you know, before you can name it, that something is wrong. Not the flicker. The building makes its own electrical complaints every night, and after 11 years, you've cataloged all of them. What's wrong is feed 7. Floor 3. North stairwell. The camera is back online after a 30-second dropout, and what it shows is a hallway that looks almost normal. Almost. The figure at the far end moves like a marionette with a cut string. Then 3 more step in from the left. Then feed 7 cuts again, and this time it doesn't come back. You're the maintenance supervisor for a 14-floor residential tower. You know this building's skeleton the way a surgeon knows an anatomy chart. Every utility shaft, every load-bearing column, every fire suppression bypass and pressure valve and emergency egress point. You were running a routine overnight check when the lobby went quiet at 11:04 p.m. You noted it. You moved on. The radio on the desk crackles once. Your daughter's voice, ragged and fast, from somewhere below. She gets half a sentence out before the signal dies. You stand there holding the radio with both hands for 3 seconds, which is 2 seconds longer than you've ever stood still without a reason. You do the math. 14 floors, 3 stairwells, north, south, and the service shaft running up the west wall that nobody uses except you. Your toolkit, a flashlight rated for 8 hours, a fire axe, 1 working radio, and your master key card. The north stairwell feed is gone. You cross the room and crack the south stairwell door 2 inches. The sound that comes through that gap is enough. You close it. The south stairwell is clear to floor 11. Below that, a wet, grinding pressure of noise fills the shaft like water fills a pipe. You've done acoustic assessments in this stairwell. You know what a single source sounds like versus a mass. You ease the door shut and stand in the corridor counting your options down to 1. The service shaft access hatch is set into the west wall behind a fire extinguisher cabinet, a small steel rectangle stenciled with warnings nobody reads, 50 centimeters wide. A vertical steel ladder running from the basement to the roof, with hatches at floor 14, 10, 7, and 2. You've climbed it 200 times in the light. You open it now and lower yourself into the dark. The shaft strips everything away. No light, no context. Just the cold bite of steel rungs and the sound of your own breathing amplified into something you don't quite recognize. You count the floors by touch, feeling for each access hatch as you descend. 13, 12, 11, 10. At floor 10, something hits the hatch from the other side. Once, twice. Then a long, sustained pressure, like a shoulder leaning into it. You grip the rung above you until the knuckle seams in your gloves go taut, and you count to 60. The pressure stops. You keep descending. You don't open the floor 10 hatch to check. The east corridor on floor 10 is where the overnight security office sat. 3 guards. You haven't heard from any of them since 11 p.m., and you decide, in the dark, that you don't need that information right now. This is the first time you choose speed over data. The ladder is cold, and your hands are steady, and you tell yourself it's the right call. Floor 7 hatch. You press your ear against the steel and hear nothing, which is the held breath kind of silence, not the safe kind. You crack it 2 centimeters. Empty corridor under bone-white emergency strip lighting. You pull yourself through. The south stairwell door on floor 7 is barricaded from the inside with a vending machine, a full one, heavy, dragged sideways with real effort. Someone deliberate did this. Someone alive. Behind the barricade, an older woman named Vera, 7th floor. You recognize her from the lease board. And a young man named Dario, in 2 months ago, 6B's next door neighbor, holding a fire extinguisher across his chest like he's been holding it for hours. They've been here since the lobby went. Vera shows you her phone. She's been filming through the window. The building across the street went dark at 11:04 p.m. exactly. Not a power failure. A synchronized cutoff. Whatever this is, it is not contained to your building. Tells you that 3 hours ago, a man from the street below is empty. No emergency lights, no sirens, nothing moving on the asphalt but the first thin lines of rain. Dario tells you that 3 hours ago, a man from floor 6 made it up here. Bitten. Dario made him leave, sent him back down the stairs alone. You ask his name. Dario says Goretzky. Apartment 6C. Your daughter is in 6B. Your expression doesn't change. Your hands don't move. But something in the center of your chest does something you don't have a word for, so you file it and keep moving. Your radio comes back to life. Her voice, clear this time, close, barricaded inside 6B with her bed frame and the bookshelf you helped her move in 18 months ago. Something in the hallway outside her door. Not pushing yet. Present. You tell her you're 1 floor above. You're coming. Dario tells you the south stairwell is flooded from floor 5 up. Fire suppression triggered somewhere below and never shut off. You hadn't accounted for that. Your schematics didn't flag a suppression failure in that zone because the sensor on floor 4 has been malfunctioning for 3 weeks, and you put in a repair request that hadn't been processed yet. Vera quietly mentions the window washing rig on the building's exterior. She saw it through her window. A suspended maintenance platform, still attached to the roof anchor, hanging somewhere around floor 8. You've inspected that rig twice. You've never operated it under load, in rain, in the dark, descending toward a window you'd have to brake to enter. You go anyway. The service shaft takes you to floor 8. The exterior window opens with your keycard on the maintenance latch, and the rig is exactly where Vera said, a rust-orange steel platform swaying in the first real gust of the storm, the descent cable looped around the motor housing. You load onto it. It holds. The motor engages with a sound like a caught breath, and you start down. At floor 7, the motor stutters. The descender cable jumps its track. A mechanical fault you've seen twice on older systems, both times fixable from the ground, neither time from a tilting platform hanging in the rain. The safety catch engages with a crack that you feel through the soles of your boots, and the platform drops 2 feet and locks at 15 degrees. You are hanging outside your daughter's window. She's right there, her face at the glass, her hand pressed flat against it, her mouth moving. The radio crackles in your pocket. Double-pane safety glass. You have the fire axe on your back. 1 swing to get through. 1 swing that will travel the full length of the building's exterior like a struck bell. You look down. At the base of the building, at floor 2's exterior, shapes are moving along the concrete face, feeling the walls. They haven't found the rig shaft yet. Sound travels in the rain. You know this. You swing anyway. She's fine. She's whole. You hold her for 4 seconds because that's all the structure of the moment allows, and then you start working. The rig's hand crank emergency ascent is rated for 200 kilograms. A manual system, a steel reel, your arms against the cable, and 40 feet of distance between floor 6 and floor 8. You get her onto the platform. You climb above her on the cable, and you crank. She keeps her eyes on you the whole way up. Not out of fear, because she needs something fixed to look at, and she has decided it's you, and you have no framework for what that costs you to recognize. Dario pulls you both through the floor 8 window. The floor holds. The barricade on floor 7 is still intact. The roof is the only remaining option. You know every system in this building, and what you know right now is that the rooftop HVAC platform connects to the building adjacent via a maintenance walkway installed 8 years ago for shared service access. 3 meters of steel, grating with a safety railing, you bolted in yourself one Tuesday morning while the city went about its business, 14 stories below. The walkway is there. You walk your daughter and Dario up the final flights through the service shaft, and you come out onto the roof into rain that's turned serious, and the city sprawls out beneath you in patches of dark broken by the occasional orange emergency light. The walkway holds. You cross first. Your daughter crosses. Dario crosses. The adjacent rooftop is dark and solid under your boots. The access door to the adjacent building's interior is open, not forced from outside. The latch is broken from within, the metal bent outward. Something exited through this door. You scan the rooftop. Nothing. But the door to the interior stairwell is also open, and the darkness beyond it is total, and you have no schematics for this building, no camera feeds, no data at all. You reach for the radio. You reach for the axe. You run the variables and come up with nothing. Your daughter takes the radio out of your hand. Gently, with both of hers, the way you'd take something breakable from someone who didn't know they were gripping too hard. She turns toward the open door. She looks back at you once, not asking permission, just making sure you're with her. Then she walks through first. You built 11 years of knowledge into the walls of a building that is now behind you, and the only load-bearing thing that got either of you off it is standing in a dark doorway, waiting for you to follow. Somewhere tonight, in a building that isn't on fire, isn't flooding, isn't making any noise at all, someone is realizing that every emergency plan they ever made assumed the systems would hold long enough for help to arrive. If you want to see more, click the video on screen now.